Hi, I'm Carcino.
Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No one knows Carcino and none of these.
There's so much going on in the world, and I'm just giving my 2 cents on it. Go in and do a raid at someone's house, but you don't have an arrest warrant for them. Hello, world. What's good with it? It's yours truly. Look, this Michelle Beadle, Stephen A. Smith situation, I knew it was going to get under his skin. I knew, like, the hair on the back of his neck, I knew this was going to blow up. And the reason I knew it was going to blow up is simple. Because these people don't seem to understand. When you talk about merit, when you talk about making it, or you're talking about the sheer dynamics of a situation, you want to do what's best for you and the next best thing, right? That's the scale you want to see. Michelle Beadle felt wronged by Stephen A. Smith. Period. That's it. So if you're looking for anything other than, there is no other activities that need to be mentioned. Besides the fact she felt this is the person y'all are pushing me out the door for. So when she made that rant, when he signed with that company, you could tell her disdain is so pent up against Stephen A. Smith, especially with what happened with the podcast show. I knew that rant was going to get under his skin. And no matter what busy schedule he has, he was going to find a way to respond. And he did. And I must admit, it was a very interesting response. He made some valid points. And we're going to hear some.
Nevertheless, it didn't stop people from coming at me. And one of those people was a lady by the name of Michelle Beadle. She took to going on the attack the latest attack against me. She's been coming at me for over a decade. And if you've noticed, I've never once responded. Not one time. In over 11 years, I have not responded. Even in my book, Straight Shooter, a memoir of second chances and first takes, a New York Times bestseller, by the way. I'll make sure to get it for you to put it up here in case you didn't see it. You should buy it. Even in the book, I didn't mention her name. But for some reason, which is why my man Juvie calls it Santa Claus, they keep mentioning my name. Let me let you hear what this woman had to say about me in her latest rant. Take a listen.
The guy is making money off of, and here, ESPN pays him $1 gazillion
to not work there
to get a lot of stuff wrong and yell, right? And he gets caught playing solitaire during the NBA freaking finals.
The thing that he claims to be a fucking
he's
genius in.
And so instead of he doubles down and he does this. If I'm ESPN, and I get it. You created this monster. He is bigger than you now. And that's exactly your fault and
Good
your
job.
fault only. You let him run rampant all over that company and put his face on for everybody who's like, oh, he works so hard. I'm going to let you in on a little behind the scenes. He wants to do that. Nobody's asking him.
He's desperate to do
He
it.
shows up. I told everyone I work with, I will never share a set with that person ever, because I don't respect him and life's too short. So that being said, I'm like, he made you look like fools for handing him a blank check in the first place because he doesn't even give a shit about the stuff that he's paid $1 gazillion to talk about. And now he's turning around and turning that into a money-making opportunity. And then the money-making opportunity turns out it looks like it's a fraudulent crap business to begin with. Honestly, I'm not a religious person, but I pray for the downfall. I really do.
It's going to be amazing.
I just...
It's going to be amazing.
Couple of things. To the guy that was sitting next to her.
All right. Now, he says, I told you, Garcino, how can someone feel wrong when he said he has never had any encounter with that woman? You gotta relax, Cino, especially when it comes to a white woman. Say the things that she said. Okay. So this is a white and black thing. She don't like Stephen A because he's black. That what you saying? She's a hater. Well, let's go over and revisit what she actually said. He's run rampant over that company. Has he not? ESPN handed him a blank check. Have they not? He's run that company into the ground. Has he not? What did she say that was inaccurate? First Take is the biggest joke on ESPN. That show is trash. And it has been trash for about 5-6 years. Probably longer. They revamped it to like a spinning world chair of a Joe Budden podcast show. That's like me listening to Joe Budden all day. I can't listen to 6-7 people talking about a bland subject. It does not require 6-7 people's involvement. Six, 7 people wouldn't be discussing is Wemby having an MVP year in a conversation. I've never seen it. That's what I'm saying. I've never seen it. Maybe it could happen, but I've never seen it. Don't think I'm going to see it in my lifetime. You made this a black and white thing. But who does the more curtailing to white people in this situation? If we gonna play that game. Since we gonna play the black and white game, who curtails more to the white man? I'm sorry, let me flip the mirror. No, come on. You can hear it. There it is. Now, who curtails more to the white man? There you go. Who does more to curtailing the white folks? So, I'm supposed to get behind a man that throws black people under the bus so he can live it up and hee-haw with the masses while he go and get other people that's trying to get off the plantation and bring them back on the plantation. He run the tail mass. So I'm supposed to get behind him because another white person don't like what he's doing. Now, he said, well, if the problem was with ESPN, which obviously it is, there's things that person know that went down to curtail for him. And right now, her show was removed from Sires Radio, and they lost a time slot to Stephen A. Smith. How convenient. And they had to leave, and they did it in such an egregious way. It seemed like a shot at her. So if we're being fair in the criticism, we have to. Yes, right. He's laughing all the way to the bank, but yet he don't have any time to spend it. See, the name of the game is time for dollars. Okay? I talk to billionaires. I go to the conventions. I speak to guys who make billions. The Shark Tank crew, I've had conversations with them. Robert Herback. Mr. Wonderful. Damon John. I've spoken to other billionaires you have never even met. And it's all about time for dollars. They will tell you that. If they could buy time, they would. But it's still 24 hours in a day. They want to buy time. What's the difference or what's the point of making hundreds of millions of dollars if you got to work 23 hours out of the day? You can't afford to get sick. You get sick one day and your whole life is over. That's not successful. That's not rich. That's a job. And this man wants everybody to just have a job. Nobody talked about his work ethic. He gonna work real well in the field or in the house for massa. Nobody can take his spot. He's Stephen. He is definitely Stephen. I think Stephen was named after him. There's nobody else more deserving. But he made some real valid points. And you know I don't like Stephen A because I know what he is. So, he likes being on this plantation. But let's get it all in perspective here. Right, and have more time to do what you want to do. That's what it's about. You're working hard so that in the future you have more time. That's what retirement was for. Retirement means like I've given you 50, 60 years of work. Now I'm retired, so I don't have to work no more for nobody. Done with work. Now I can spend my glory days relaxing, traveling. Why do you think people, as soon as they retire, they travel? Because they ain't never seen nothing but work for 50 some years. And then they live probably 2 more years and they go. The criticism is not fair. He's the only person you and everyone else attacking. I don't care about you meeting white women with titties. That's the problem. No, white men with titles. That's the problem with our community. You hate your own. Damon John is a black man. I've met Hiro Natatachi, who is a Japanese billionaire. I met Nigel. Okay? No, what is it? Nwampa. Nigel Nwampa. I had to get their names right. Nigerian billionaire. Do you know how many billionaires are in Nigeria? I talk to the Ministry of Defense in Nigeria. I have projects that are worth hundreds of millions of dollars in development in Nigeria. It's not always about white. And when you said, I don't care about white men's titles, you just heard about the white people. And you blocked the message that it was billionaires. I didn't say color at all. I said names because it's about the information, not the color. You see, what you don't realize is that these people are not going to show up on no Forbes list. They don't care about being on Forbes list. And other people do that because they want the recognition. They want people to know I'm a billionaire, because they don't do anything exciting. They know people care about celebrity. They don't want to be celebrities. Some of these people do. Robert Herfat is what you don't understand. Came up poorer than you. Mr. Wonderful came up poorer than you. The Nigerians came up poorer than you. The man in Japan, he was poor, probably had a little bit of money than you probably. But these people were really poor. They are self-made billionaires. Meaning their family before them had nothing to give them. They made their own success. This is the difference. And people they lose focus because they focus so much on color and racism that you can't focus on the actual story and the actual message in there. Is that the new wealth is not going to be handed. You're going to have to go out and earn it. So you have to create it. Nobody's passing down old money anymore. Who's ever lying is worse. Right. Do you know? All you gotta do is go watch the movie Mandingo. That'll show you exactly what's going on here. Now, Stephen A. Smith, a man I don't respect or like, because I'm a black man. I think he is cancerous to black men. I think he is horrible. I think he says what the boss's agenda against black men right now. This man said Kyrie Irving should retire. This man has said more egregious things to have black men and sponsorship stay away from them and use ESPN's multi-million viewers in their platform to do that and assassinate the character of black men. But then we go on his podcast show, which doesn't have millions of viewers, to apologize. But never would do it on that big stage because he's a coward. And because of that, he don't want to lose that big check, that money that he can't see, because money is not what he's chasing. He want to be in that chair with that shirt on and be the beacon for white folk. He complained about Jason Whitlock, but yet he's trying to be Jason Whitlock. Now he wants to talk politics like Whitlock and curtail his stuff for white people like Whitlock. So overall, you want to be Jason Whitlock. And you want me to get behind a black man that tries to make other black men look bad and run behind white men. What you doing? What you talking about, Willie? No. I don't preach for black men to be workers. I preach for them to be their own boss, like white men their own boss. Because that's the new job. You see, while collecting information from these billionaires, that's why I have the Patreon. So I give my business information that I get from them and give it to you for pennies on the damn dollar. Then you will still have somebody say, man, them prices too high on the Patreon. The price is too high. I just gave you an opportunity on how to make money. And I did it for free. All my people that are on my Patreon, my free members, paid members, all y'all got information on how to make extra money. All of you. So you had no excuse not to be VIP. You know they got programs, surveys you can take. They'll give you a gift card. They have money allotted for this research. Because they want to test to see which products are doing what. So they pay people free money just to say, take this survey. If you did this, this, and this, they're paying you for surveys. Free money. I went and showed y'all where, like, dude, there's so much money on the internet. It's crazy. Now, getting back to this topic here, Stephen A. Smith had a point about Michelle Beadle and Corey Decker. Let's hear what he had to say in this point.
I don't know you from a can of paint. I think his name is Cody Decker. I heard you used to play in minor leagues, like 8 years, and tried it at baseball, whatever. No shade on you, bro. I don't know you. And I want you to know that anything that I say about your show with her in a second has absolutely nothing to do with you. I know you got to sit next to her and come across as rah-rah and all of that, bro. This has nothing to do with you. I wish you nothing but the best. I hope your success continues to grow.
You're saying they're still passing down wealth over here, bro. I don't know where you at, but it's not called passing down wealth when you're already in it. You see, what they're in is like a family trust. When you're in a family trust, that means your family members, you see, you don't understand. Most multi-million-dollar like NBA players, let's say Michael Jordan, who's a billionaire, right? Jordan got all this money he made from Nike and everything else, multi-millions. If Michael Jordan want to give his sister some money, his sister probably she ain't in his tax bracket. Michael Jordan's sister, you probably don't even know who the hell she is. Michael Jordan's sister probably make $60,000 a year if she do that. So do you think Michael Jordan just go to the bank and say, give me $3 million? Yeah, give it to my sister. No, you can't do that. You think you could just do that? You can't. They will be taxed at a high tax bracket that you are attached to. You can't do that. That's the way they ensure you don't enrich the hood. Why you think all these people don't go back and buy the whole neighborhood? Because they can't. They make sure of it. Now, Stephen A. has met his match, a white woman. Now, listen to this. Because it's a family trust, It depends on how you structure your family trust. But in the family trust, it's usually they're taxed at their living expense. So whatever the sister taxes are that's pertaining to her, the money she gets, she's going to get taxed at the same rate. So whatever money you gift her out of the fund, out of the family trust, that's usually in place for them. So the wealth is not really passed down. They're included in it. So they're part of it. So this new pass down thing, you just don't know about. Trust me. The game is different. The game is so different for people with means. And with people without, that's why we have the Patreon to help you guys out with this type of information. Because we want all of you guys to succeed. Well, I do. I know he don't.
And you make the most of the career that you're trying to have. I know you did short films, produce short films. Man, all the best to you, bro. I don't know you. Don't know you. My comments are strictly directed at this woman, who I will remind y'all I have not said a word about in over 11 years. I've never spoken about her. Do y'all know why? I don't know her. You would think there's some beef that's been going on and has been pervasive throughout the industry for years. It's all because of her. I have never said more than hello or goodbye to her in the initial stages, and we was at one event for ESPN in 2013 or wherever it was, where we might have spoken for a minute or two. I don't know this woman at all. So when you hear her talking about me, please understand, I don't know her. I have no relationship with her. She says I don't like her. How would you know? It has to be because of how you're acting, Michelle Beadle. It can't be because of me. Because I don't talk to you. I don't know you. I don't talk to you. I've never been around you. We've never had a conversation. We've never hung out with one another. Nothing. We have no relationship. I can sit up here right now, walk outside to the bathroom, pass somebody in the hallway, talk to them for 2 minutes, and that would be more extensive than any communication I have had with Michelle Beadle in all these years.
And this is true. What's up, Alex? New member alert. What? Yes, sir. New member. Woo! Now, let's get to this. Stephen A. Smith comes along and says, this is what he wants to do. This is his plan. This is his goal. Now, let me tell you what Stephen A. Smith's goal is. Stephen A. Smith's goal, what he was talking about here, is that he doesn't know Michelle Beadle, right? He's letting you know, like, I don't really know these people. We worked at the same company, but I've never hung out with this person. I never did this. I never did that. He's identifying that for her to dislike me, why? I don't know you. I don't know you. So why in the world would we be having a discourse? And I'm going to tell you what he's actually doing. He's taking the narrative of what she was talking about and turning it somewhere else, away from him, as if it has no reason for, I don't know. It's on you. I don't even know you, because I don't even talk about you. But we'll get to what this whole point is about. But I like the direction he's doing. But I know what he's doing and where he's going. But let's see. Let's listen.
So she's giving off this impression like it's some warfare that's going on. It doesn't exist. If I don't like you, which is true now, it's because of the multitude of times you've been on the attack. And it's dating back to 2014 with the whole Ray Rice thing. Go look in my book. I'm not revisiting that. I don't have to. I've moved on. And I'm doing my thing. But all of this.
She got him suspended in 2014 over a Ray Rice comment in which Stephen A. Smith was absolutely correct. And in 2014, she made a statement like, how can we deal with a guy like Stephen A. saying something, and ESPN got involved. And I was surprised because nobody at ESPN is supposed to be, like, colleagues don't, it's in their contract. You're not supposed to talk about other colleagues. That's in their bylaws. So for her to be allowed to do that without any repercussions led to the suspension of Stephen A. Smith, where he took full responsibility. He apologized for his Ray Rice comments, and he was upset he was suspended for like 2 weeks. And let's go.
Stuff that she's been bringing up. When people are saying, Stephen, it's nonsense. She's here compared to you. Forget all of that. I talk about who I want to talk about when I want to talk about. 99% of the time, I ignore people. But every now and then, you got to raise up. And this is my time to do just that. Because this person is trifling. And I'm not going to go any deeper than that because I don't have to. But she is what she is. My work ethic, let's analyze that for a second here while you talk about your stuff. You are Michelle Beadle. You are on the record saying you refuse to share a desk. Let's talk about that. I do remember when I had some breaking news when you were on Get Up and you refused to have it aired because of me. Is that professional? Is that the right thing to do? Did Mike Greenberg feel that way? Did the producers at Get Up feel that way? Did the bosses at ESPN feel that way? See, I'm still there, you're not. Who you think they favored?
That's true. Now that is true. Michelle Beadle is gone because she's a tyrant. A lot of guys didn't like Michelle Beadle. They started a rumor about her being drunk and belligerent at an ESPN event. You know, saying she wanted a sports player to grab her boobs and all this stuff. She said this was lies, and people who didn't like her at ESPN creating this narrative that never happened. And her reputation at the company was a sort, right? She didn't like Rachel Nichols. Rachel Nichols came in for her spot because she did the NBA. Rachel Nichols, her and Rachel Nichols beef was going on. Rachel was friends with Stephen A. They had a relationship where she comes to do the NBA. She had LeBron and all these other people. But here's the thing, Michelle Beadle, that was her spot. She did the same acts to anybody who she thought was threatening her position. Rachel Nichols couldn't get anything from Michelle Beadle. And Michelle Beadle only got this position and got her leg up in the business with the NBA because her daddy, who owns a doggone petroleum gas company in San Antonio, is one of the boosters and supporters of the San Antonio Spurs. He knows the owner of the Spurs. So she got her career in media for the San Antonio Spurs. A leg up from daddy. Coming right out. She went to school for journalism. No one said she wasn't good at her job. She knows how to broadcast. But daddy gave you a leg up and got you on the big stage. You didn't work your way up. Daddy gave it to you with San Antonio. Now, me knowing that, I know what he's talking about. As you can see, I have no dog in the fight. You know I don't like Stephen A. Smith. But I'm not going to sit here and not look at both sides of the coin. I'm going to tell y'all exactly what's going on. I didn't have to research any of that because I already know about Michelle Beadle. So this is why, and he knows about it. Stephen A knows that story. He knows what's going on here. He knows why she doesn't like him and everything. He tries to be oblivious to everything, but we'll get to that. Let's let it cook.
You want to talk about me being in front of the camera? Haven't you tried to come back to ESPN? What they tell you? Clearly it ain't yes, because you ain't there. Could it be because of that kind of behavior? Because Cody Decker, if you're listening, since you work next to this woman was damn good at her job. She'll never say that about me. No problem. Everyone else does, and my paycheck shows it. You continue to live in your world. I'll live in mine.
I don't know who told you you're good at your job. And what is your job? If throwing black people under the bus is your job, then yeah, you're doing a good job for them. So, and your paycheck reflects it. Exactly. He lives for a paycheck. I don't have paychecks, sir. I pay myself. I decide what I want to pay myself. My company gets revenues and checks coming in from multiple areas, but I pay myself. I decide what do I want to pay myself from my company. I don't know, but I guess he just wants to be an employee for the rest of his life.
But I'm a fair-minded individual. She was pretty good at her job. So why are you stuck with a podcast with 2,500 subscribers on Instagram? What happened to ESPN? What happened to NBC?
Ooh.
FS1 want you? CBS want you? Where you at? What you doing? You're at FanDuel. By the way, your boss is Norby Williamson, our former boss at ESPN, who had something to do with you being gone. Hey, Norby, how you doing, my man? Miss you, bro. Dinner on you sometime soon, my man. Yes, Michelle Beadle.
Now, Norby Williamson is one of the worst bosses in any executive history, especially towards black people. He wanted to help destroy anybody in the network that didn't follow his words to the letter, including Jamel Hill, Michael Smith. He hated that they were doing all this woke stuff. I hate this woke stuff. Stephen A, are you woke? No, sir. I don't know what's wrong with all these black people. Why can't they be more like Stephen? Stephen A knows what time it is. That's what they want to see. More Stephen A. They love that type. Look how he comes in a shirt and tie. Ain't got no pants hanging down below the belt, coming up here looking ridiculous. When everybody black had problems with Norby Williamson, they went to Stephen A. and said, how do I deal with this? When you had problems with Norby Williamson, that Norby and the rest of those guys got you out of there in 2009, Stephen. Now, when you had problems with it, you went to Stuart Scott and said, what am I doing wrong? How do I navigate working with Norby? How do you do it? Now you're here boasting and trying to throw Norby Williamson under the bus, who quit ESPN because he couldn't tell Pat McAfee what to do. He wanted to dictate to Pat McAfee what Pat McAfee could do and what he can't do. And he can't. Why? Because Pat McAfee is his own boss. Everybody in his studio that works on his show, he paid. ESPN don't pay them. They pay his company. They partnered with Pat McAfee. So they got to pay his company. And Pat McAfee said, this is my staff. No one that works at ESPN works on the Pat McAfee show. Nah, he didn't want that. He negotiated for that power. Why? So that he could do what he wants to do and nobody can tell him the latter. See, that's how bosses move. He had something they wanted of value and he knew how to market to get it and get himself in a position where it makes sense. All the rest of these people are spiraling. What happened here? Why is Molly gone? We'll get to that. We'll get to that. But let's not digress from said point. Continue.
Beadle, I know your boss. I know him well. See, I know why you're going. I know why you ain't back. I know why you can't go to other networks. And the sad part about it is because it's all because of that stink-ass attitude. Evil. You pray for my downfall? First of all, congratulations. Because I didn't know you prayed. I had no clue. I didn't know you were capable of such a thing. The way you act. I'm a monster?
Pray.
Who have I been a monster to? Bringing up Cody Decker's name again. You sitting there rah-rah and going at it. And yeah, it's ridiculous, blah, 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 blah. Cody, do you know in 30 plus years in this business, I don't talk about my colleagues.
He don't talk about his colleagues. Yet he throws Max Kellerman on a bus. This man went on a tour selling his book, using Max Kellerman to throw him under the bus over and over and over again, saying he's my friend, but I'm going to keep throwing him under the bus. He throws Skip Bayless under the bus. He volunteers information on his show without talking to Shannon Sharp, which was a total betrayal, repeatedly talking about his case when he wouldn't talk about anything that was revolving you and LeBron James. Until LeBron broke his silence and went on Pat McAfee's show. But when it was viral, he didn't talk about it. And you didn't pay him the proper etiquette of doing the same. So no, you're a liar. You do talk about colleagues. But I guess you mean former colleagues, right? Well, it's a former colleague. You're not a monster to people. Why Molly's gone? And she doesn't mention you. Why does Jalen Rose don't mention you? And he's taking shots at you. And you know where it was directed. And you know why. He doesn't speak to you. And he looked up to you because he thought you was a real one. And he was in position at ESPN and you weren't. You was on the outs trying to get in all the way back in 2009. You were an executive producer of First Take. If you wanted Molly there, she would have been there. right? You didn't fight for Molly because you didn't want Molly. You didn't want to go back and forth no more. You wanted to change the narrative to what Stepehen A. Smith wanted it to be. That's what you wanted. I'm not mad. I'm just saying I get it. You wanted to change the narrative to fit your idealism. Okay, we get it. So, yes, he's going to play victim. But trying to throw Norby Williamson under the bus to cause distrust with his, he's her boss over there at FanDuel. Now you're trying to make it seem like he was saying something about her behind the scenes to you. You now know Norby has no power because he quit, because he couldn't tell Pat McAfee what to do. He can't hurt you no more. You're part of the company's property, right? But yes, Michelle Beadle has hurt herself in this industry by standing up to misogynistic men. Now, a lot of situations she created because she's a girl that seems like she wishes she was born a boy. And she's mad about that. And she always carries herself like she's mad at the world about something. And she's very driven and determined. A daddy's girl. Fierce, and she comes off as abrasive. And nobody hates Stephen A. Smith. We hate what he does. Tearing down black men. Because they don't do things that's ideal to what master or company says. So, only when it backfired after attacking Kwame Brown again on his Stephen A. World show, and it backfired on him, the network told him, don't make him again on this show. Because he's destroying it. They all started coming to the internet. Stephen A. Smith had about 3 podcast shows. Now he's hot for talking about Kwame Brown. Kwame Brown got all these dudes paid.
And my contemporaries, unless they attack me. And 99% of the time, I ignore it. I don't do that. This is Michelle Beadle right here. I'm not a religious person, but I pray for the downfall. It's gross, man. You got to have principles in this thing. Take that off the screen. What are you talking about, principles? Where are your principles? I've been in this business since 1993. I started off as a high school reporter. I went to college to cover colleges at the Philadelphia Inquirer and got promoted 7 times over the years. In 2003, at a time before podcasting and all of this other stuff, in order to elevate yourself to a place where you were giving opinions, because there were really no debate shows that were available before PTI and stuff like that came along. In order for you to be in a position to express your opinion, you had to earn it by working your way up the ranks through the newspaper industry. And at the time, there were only 20 African Americans in this country's history that ever became a general sports columnist. I was number 21. I came after the J.A. Adondes. I came after the Michael Wilbons. I came after the William C. Rodens. I came after the Kevin Blackstones. I came after the Brian Burwells. I came after the Ralph Wileys. I came after the Sam Lacey's and all of these other people. What were you doing?
He's alluding to the fact of what I was talking about. She got a hand job from Daddy when he had to work his way up. But he fails to mention that he threw Allen Iverson under the bus. Your claim to fame was writing about Carlton Hines' death and him getting murdered, a black man. And by pretending that you were a friend of Carlton Hines, you was from the Bronx. You were born in the Bronx, but you left at like 2 years old. You don't know nobody there. So y'all moved to Hollis, Queens. So it's like, dude, you're not really from the Bronx. And you lied to manipulate the family to get them to talk to you. and they trusted you, and you wrote a terrible hit piece about them, and that was your first big like story you wrote for a paper. Your writing was horrible. It was horrific. It was like someone who didn't even know or understand the English language almost. It was as basic as 1, 2, 3. They would only give you a couple of lines in the paper. And we revisit this a lot of times. All of the things that you had in that book, majority of it is lies. Your brother was best friends with Jam Master Jay. Your brother is about 10 years older than Jam Master Jay. Your brother left school at 18. Jam Master Jay was like 10. How the hell were they best friends? An 18-year-old is best friends with a 10-year-old boy. I mean, the things that he says is so off the walls because he knows people are not going to research it. The guys in the neighborhood knew that guy going somewhere. See, I heard your book. I heard it. There's so many lies you told. So many. I mean, from yes. But let's get into this. Stepehen A. Wisdom State of Mind. You didn't know his book is fake. Stephen A. is not the writer he tells you to be. He's not the basketball player he pretends to be. He lied on Coach Gaines. He said he wrote the article that got the coach fired. And that's why they call me the straight shooter. You just named this podcast show Straight Shooter. So you named yourself after this article you wrote against the coach, right? That got the coach fired. Where's this article? Everybody would have this article pent up if this is the article that made him. The newspaper would have this. You're the biggest person to probably write for them. You're Stephen A. Smith. Where is the article? It doesn't exist. You know why it doesn't exist? Because the coach never got fired. He worked 3 more years, and they created a rule saying if you're past a certain age limit, you couldn't coach anymore. That's the only reason Coach Gaines wasn't there. Had nothing to do with Stephen A. Smith. Matter of fact, you know how we know? Because Coach Gaines wrote the book about his life. He was the legendary coach at Winston-Salem. And for all those years he was coaching, Stephen A. Smith's name is never mentioned in the book. Not once. You're not in his book because you weren't in his life to say he was my mentor and all that. Dude, you barely had any connection to this man. Do you know how you got on the team? A guy that you knew from your neighborhood is an alum for Winston-Salem. Winston-Salem had their budget cut, so they couldn't go out and get the recruits. They wanted to go to the houses and recruit these guys, talk to their parents. The budget was cut. The budget was And because the budget was cut, okay, because the budget was cut, let me tell you what, they couldn't go and get any players. This is the first time ever. So they were recruiting. The alumni said, hey, you was just on the playground shooting hoops. And he said, man, what are you doing for school? Oh, man, I'm playing a little JUCO, I'm doing that. Oh, you played JUCO? He's like, okay, well, you got a little shot. Man, you ever thought about going to college, man? Winston-Salem? I don't know. He's like, man, let me drive you down there for a trial. They just needed some bodies So they put you on there talking about some, I just went crazy. I hit like 33s like I was Steph Curry. Really? You expect us to believe you hit 33-pointers though in a workout? They put you on the team because they needed bodies and it was free. They gave you a partial scholarship. You didn't have a full scholarship. They gave you a partial athletic scholarship because that's all they could get you. They couldn't go get any real recruits. So you are a walk-on guy. You didn't beat anybody out for no job. They put you on the team because they needed bodies. The budget was cut. In high school, you was on an all-white boy team. You went to an engineering high school. You went to a technical engineering high school because your mother thought you was going to be a failure. So she put you in that school, Stephen A. It was 3 black people in the entire school. 3. You were one of them. And you couldn't make the basketball team. And you made every excuse in the world. Oh, I got beat out. The coach know I outplayed that guy. You got beat. You got beat by a bunch of white guys who were in school for engineering. You couldn't make the team to your senior year, according to you. But on the team photo that they took, you're not even mentioned. There's no record of you in a high school uniform for that school. They don't even have you, let's say you missed the photo day. Right, Stephen A? Let's say you missed photo day. Your name would be at the bottom saying, not photographed, it's Stephen A. Smith. You're not there. You're not there. These are the facts, Stephen. You failed the 3rd and 4th grade. You failed the 3rd grade twice, and the 4th grade. You failed the 3rd and 4th grade. They held you back. These are facts, people. These are facts. So I know all about your life, even though you wanted to portray this, Stephen A. Because I know about people I might have to go after. As you can see with Gilbert Arenas, I know everything. That's why he can't. It's nothing he can do. He can't lie to me. He can't come after me in that way because he will lose. That's why he don't say nothing else about me. Because he know. I was talking to Kwame. Because you know you can't win. And your dad told you, stay away from him. But you didn't want to listen. Now you know. Now, Stephen A. is a liar. At Winston-Salem College, he never played in one game. So him averaging 1 point in a game, those are false made stats that they put on ESPN. They had a thing where they were bringing him back to Winston-Salem College with his former teammates. Former teammates, they never played with you. You broke your knee in a practice, injured your knee, cried like a baby in a practice. You never played in a game. You was on the bench for one game. Because all of these guys is what he wanted to be. In his mind, he thought he could be this guy. So he's talking about I got an athletic scholarship, 4-year scholarship. Wrong, lie. Didn't get 4 years. You was on a partial year-by-year basis, and they revoked your scholarship when you tore your knee up and you went back to go have surgery on your knee. This isn't personal. This is the truth, Voltron Defender. Now, the question you should be asking yourself is, why was he lying? Why is he lying about his past? Everything I'm saying, I got receipts. I got receipts for him. You can't average 1.5. How would he average 1.5? He never played a college basketball game in his life. He can't average 1.5. He never played in a game. He was in a practice. He injured his knee and he practiced before the season even started, and he never played a game. They was like, hey, you gonna rehab, you gonna get back in there. He was like, went to the coach begging him, coach, man, I can still be on the team. I could just sit on the bench. The coach is like, nah, man, I gotta clear this spot up for somebody else. So we're gonna have to revoke your sponsorship. So he went all the way back home, mad. Then he had to come back to go in there and talk to the athletic department. And the lady who was in there, one of his teachers, was like, well, he is kind of smart and we want to give him a chance. You know, he's a student. He was there begging, I love college. I don't want to lose college. I love it here. And my family can't afford to go. So they gave him a partial scholarship for academics, but he had to work in like the library. So he had like a work scholarship. He did not have an athletic scholarship at Winston-Salem. It got revoked once he broke his knee. He had to go in and get a one for education. So him trying to say he got a scholarship for 4 years to play basketball, that just shows how he manipulates and lies. Tell the truth, Stephen A. Can you do that one time? Can you tell the people the actual truth? This is why I look at him, and when he talks, I know it's bullshit, because all he does is lie. Everything about him is a lie. He might as well be a politician. His whole life is a lie. You have lied so much that you can't even remember when you started lying. You can't be a straight shooter when all you do is shoot BS. That's because when you go down the roads that they went down, it's all there. Michelle Beadle probably feels this way because believe me, if I know it, she knows it.
See, y'all want to talk and talk about my career as if I have no resume. I'm a black man from the streets of Hollis, Queens. How I get here if I didn't work my ass off? You think they were just giving it to me like I had some silver spoon in my mouth? It was earned. And then after the Philadelphia Inquirer, I was still doing Fox Sports before I ultimately got to ESPN. And yes, I do want to work. Right now, so what you think my contract is in the newspaper, they're paying me gobs and gobs and gobs of money, right? Wouldn't that be the perfect reason to just do my job and go home and look for nothing else? But it didn't stop me from taking a radio show here at Sirius XM. It didn't stop me from doing another political show at Sirius XM on POTUS Radio. It doesn't stop me from doing my production company and trying to produce scripted and unscripted content. Why? Because I'm a worker. I don't look for shortcuts. I work my ass off all the time.
Exactly the point, right? You are a worker because you have no talent. So you want someone to cut you a check for life. You want a big check. Like, yeah, I got a big check. Yes, you got a big money that you won't be able to pass down to your kids. You are getting a big check that you can get fired. If the company decides, not you, that, you know what, you just ain't got it no more. We want to go in another direction. Guess what? You're fired. You're fired. Now, Stephen A. Smith is boasting and flexing behind the money. Like, yeah, I work hard. No, you want that because you like to have your attention and your name out there because your ego. This is what she was saying. Like, stop saying that ESPN is up. He wants that. Nobody's asking him to do any of it. That's what she said. No one's asking you to do nothing, Stephen. You want to do it. You want to do it. Nobody was asking for you. You wanted to do this.
And guess what I'm going to do? Continue to work my ass off. I just finished speaking to my boss the other day and told him to his face, hey, my man, just so you know, I'm here. Yeah, I'm getting paid, but I'm still underutilized because I love to work. That's me. If I got to work 18 hours a day to get the job done, fine. If I got to work 20 hours a day to get the job done, fine. Whatever I got to do in order to be successful and to help the network that I represent be successful, that's what I'm going to do. That might be the reason I'm sitting here in a studio I own, by the way. And you're not. I wonder why that is, Michelle Beadle.
Well, you got money from ESPN and you paid for this studio. That's not making you any money. Let me repeat. Stephen A. Smith is not making enough money from this YouTube channel to pay for the studio that he spent millions of dollars building. He's thinking about the company, how much money I'm making the company. Unbelievable.
Let's count the ways. So, and I'm going to take it in chronological order rather than skip stuff, right? Because I want to make sure that I'm accurate. Okay. You left ESPN for NBC in 2012. Didn't you do that? You did the show, went to do the show, The Crossover. In September 2013. It was canceled. I'm sorry, in January of 2013. It premiered January 28, 2013. It was canceled in September. You didn't even make it a year. It was canceled in 8 months. You had a host that you was working with at the time. I'm not going to throw his name out there. I mean, y'all can look it up if y'all want to. But know that he left within 3 months. Could that have been because of you? Because we all know you like to do what you want to do and you don't give a damn about napalm and bridges. There's actually videos on social media showing how you say you've napalmed bridges. It's what you do. He left. The show was left up to you. Lasted 8 months because its ratings really cracked 40,000 viewers. 40,000. By the way, I average over 500,000. Sometimes 600,000, sometimes 700,000, sometimes 800,000. In the morning, you on in prime time, drive time, and you couldn't crack 50.
Burn. Hey, don't like Stephen A. But he told the truth right there. She was toxic. Okay? She is a toxic person. Because she's very predominant. She wants her way. She thinks, I tell you, Michelle Beadle is a woman who wishes she was born a boy. She has that type of energy. She's very much an alpha. Okay? She's not the docile girl that's very happy to be there. And they don't like that. This is old-fashioned people that are in these studios, and they hate that kind of mentality. It's like, who are you to come in with this? Of course, because we know what Stepehen A is. He's always going to back a white billionaire. Of course, he's going to back down. What did you expect? It's Stepehen A. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What happened? Sports Business Journal, September 25th, 2013. NBC SN has canceled the low-rated crossover. That's a quote from Sports Business Journal. I will name the guy's name because I'm not throwing him out there or whatever like that. No shade on him, but the guy's name was Dave Briggs that you was working for that left you in 3 months. I don't know why. I have no idea. I can imagine, but I don't know. There's a program shift since you were hosting the show solo for the final months. A shift from sports pop culture hybrid to pure sports talk, then back again. A change that Beadle says later confused viewers and producers alike. So the viewers were confused and the producers were confused, but you wasn't. Oh, you knew exactly what you were doing. Okay. On why she left NBC after the show was canceled, quote, so when they canceled my show over there, I made it pretty clear that I would no longer be interested in doing anything for them. I think the idea was they were going to fill me in spots, and that's not why I left. I didn't leave the best sports network in the world to go be a fill-in somewhere else. It was kind of ugly and kind of tense. Just a couple of side notes. January 28, 2013, you premiered on NBCSN, 36,000 viewers in your debut. Your co-host leaves in April of 2013. Viewership dropped below 30,000. The format was revamped from June to August of 2013. You averaged 35,000 viewers. September 25th, 2013, NBCSN canceled show, quotes it as the low-rated experiment, Sports Business Journal. And then you left. And then you ultimately came back to ESPN. Crossover lasted just 8 months, blah, blah, blah. That's what happened. That's what they're saying here, okay? We also know that you went to Get Up. And we know that story with you and Get Up, okay? But here's a couple of things. It talks about how Skipper wanted you to come on board. Now 5 months into the show, so that lasted NBC 8 months. Then you come to ESPN and you Get Up. And 5 months into the show, I'm not saying that it was in that order. I know that you did NBA and stuff like that, but it's neither here nor there. You have another show, and it's Get Up with you, Greeny, Jalen Rose. We all know that Jalen Rose knows his damn basketball. We know what he was there for. We know that Greeny is the ultimate host, one of the most consummate professionals any of us have ever seen in this business. But it gets to you. 5 months into the show, you're done at Get Up. The network even announced a shuffle that gave Beadle a nice NBA landing spot and a couple of more years on her deal. The pairing of Beadle and Greenberg, this according to Andrew Marchand from the Post at the time, was one of Skipper's final gifts during his during his tenure at the network. But anyone who knows anything about Greenberg or Beadle knew it wouldn't work. They are too different in so many ways. They did not look like they enjoyed being on a set together, and it was even less enjoyable to viewers. This is a quote. Okay? Then you go there. Despite Skipper's deciding to pay Greenberg, Beadle, and former Fab Five member Jalen Rose a combined $14.5 million yearly salaries to host Get Up, the program was never set up properly. And she was gone. During that time, however, this is Michelle Beadle commenting about Ohio State coach Urban Meyer. The show, all right, talking about boycotting NFL and college football. You're a sports host getting paid $5 million a year, and you was on a morning show refusing to talk about the NFL and college football. That's professional? That wouldn't have something to do with you napalming bridges? Then after that, you go over to the NBA. Because it wasn't you. Of course it wasn't you. Why? And the Get Up was failing in the ratings, even though they've won since you've left. It wasn't you. Could have been you. It had to be that.
Now, he said, lives to impress his boss. Older man with a worker bee mentality. Yep. Yeah, he wants to conform everybody to just get a job and work for Whitey. That's all he promotes, is making the company money. A company man. Now, what he's saying here, no matter how goofy he looks, he's making valid points. He's making very valid points. What you're seeing is a pattern of behavior of people not liking her and her blowing up the spot. And when you start getting into your 50s and 60s and you're still trying to figure it out, there was something that went wrong there. Because she is in a relationship business. She's not a singular person. So eventually, the way Stephen A. Smith is wording this is basically like, that guy Corey Decker that's sitting next to you, it's a matter of time before he walks out of the door. And then you're going to blame Cody. That's how he's basically setting it up. You know, I know where he's going with it, but that's what I'm saying. He's setting this up in such a way that this would be the dynamic.
But I digress. You go over to the NBA and you're gone within a year, 2019. And what did you do when you left? You blamed LeBron James. You said he had something to do with forcing you out. I'm a nobody. He's an ultra powerful dude and blah, 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 blah. And then you tried to blame Rachel Nichols, our former colleague. Like she had something to do with the bridges you napalmed.
No. Rachel Nichols, Stephen A., was responsible. LeBron James did play a part in Rachel Nichols' departure. All over the decision. When everybody else made an opinion, he went at Rachel Nichols. He went at Michelle Beadle. He the one wanted Rachel Nichols to interview him. They wanted to promote Rachel Nichols and give her the spot because LeBron was happy he was not going to sit down with Michelle Beadle because she didn't talk favorably about him. And what she said about Cleveland on Get Up really upset him too. Who wants to go to Cleveland for the NBA Finals? We're so glad it's only they can do all this back to back so quick because, gosh, we do not want to go back to Cleveland for the NBA Finals. The people of Cleveland was very upset when she said that. LeBron was upset. But she was saying, like, look, we're all thinking it. We don't like going to Cleveland. So
that was go. Now we're talking about my work ethic and how they don't want me. I want to be on camera. Would ESPN let somebody on camera because they wanted to be on camera and not because ESPN wanted them to be on camera? Does that make any sense to any of y'all in the industry? Are y'all going to sit back and just let her get away with that nonsense? A network puts me on the air because I want to be on the air, not because they want me on the air. Like they want to pay me the money they paying me. Really? It ain't because I generate ratings and revenue, which is something she's never done. But it gets even better. Because after she does that, she also has this sound of her talking about me and how they let her go. And the day, her final day there, they were promoting that I was coming on the next day. Ladies and gentlemen, what does that tell you? That they wanted me on all along. and couldn't bring me on because she didn't want me on her show. I've already been on First Take. We're already number one. All I was trying to do was help the show's ratings. Had she listened, she might still had a job. But you didn't want to do that because you want to be all prideful and evil and antagonistic towards me, who's done nothing to you. I've never talked to you. I've never talked about you. I've never said anything to anybody about you. I don't mess with you at all. What interest would I have on any level? But you still acted that way. That's what you did. And when they promoted me, it made you sick to your stomach because at that moment you realized they wanted me on. Ladies and gentlemen, I always make guest appearances on Get Up throughout the years. But that particular year that they let her go, the ratings were bad. And there was a new regime that took over, overseeing the show and everything like that. And they said, we need you on every day. And for the rest of the year, they had me on every day. And it certainly wasn't me alone. There was a whole bunch of people contributing to the show. But we resurrected that damn show. And now Get Up, outside of First Take, is pretty much the top rated show in the morning, across the board in all the sports, with Mike Greenberg leading the way, along with his staff, doing an absolutely fantastic job. Most importantly, they're happy because bad apples got out the door. I'm not telling you what they said, I'm telling you what I feel. So now that we get that out the way, that's one place where Beadle was replaced.
Hey, he cooking her. Hey, he cooking her up. She wanted this smoke. He giving her the smoke. I don't like Stephen A. Smith. He is a liar, but he is saying some things that I told you he had points on. He had points. Now, I wouldn't have had his ass on the show too. I don't care what the ratings look like. I wouldn't have put Stephen A. Smith near me because we gonna break the ratings mode when I choke the living shit out of him on the set. So we gonna break it. What's up, Will Allen in the house? That's the Will Allen. I just can't stand anything about him. Same here, Lady Blue. Hey, Lady in Blue, see, we know because we know what he is. He's a company man who leads blacks to the slaughter and would tear down any black man doing anything, just like he went after Jasmine Crockett. The way he went after her. She's a minority person in Congress. Her role is small. She has no real power there. But you want to attack her. Out of everybody in the parties, a black woman who's just trying to speak up, and what she's saying was right. Her job is to do what she does. It's call out the injustice. Her job was to call out the indifference. Her job is to say, hey, this ain't right. That's her job. She's supposed to do this. What is this fool talking about? I was like, dude, then he ended up having to apologize because now you have black women who don't really pay no attention to your ass paying attention to you. And they go, oh, I didn't know he was like that. So then, instead of doing it on ESPN, he go on his show. And because of that, I got to step back. I had to look at myself. And now I gotta apologize. No, you saw them numbers in decline. All of these so-called numbers you think is because of you. It's because of me. The numbers went up. First Take numbers didn't rise at all because of you, and you were there. When Max Kellerman wasn't there anymore and Max left, the numbers was up when Max was there. When Max left, the numbers didn't jump up out of the building. They were tanking. The numbers didn't make a jump till you got Shannon Sharp, and they doubled. That's called moving the needle. It eliminated Fox when he was over there. That's moving the needle. He did what you do, and he doubled it. Your show has never touched 1 million homes until Shannon Sharp was there. Once he left, those numbers dropped dramatically. Now he's getting his money on the internet. But see, this is where your money means nothing, Stephen A. And the power you have, you don't. You can't make a goddamn decision up there without the bosses, the 2 white boys on my right and left, Jimmy Pitaro and Bob Iger. They gonna make the decisions. The white boys. The white boys. The white boys. They on fire. Now, this is where your money don't matter. This is where you being a good old boy don't matter. This is where it does not matter, because you're sitting here they inspire you to Gilbert Arenas. I said, Gilbert Arenas, this is what's wrong with your 50%. It's 50% and 100% of nothing. Ha ha! I said, well, that 50% is only if you align in a toad and you're doing what they need you to do. The moment they feel like, why are we paying 50% for this? This is not aligning with what we want to accomplish. So why are we doing this? You know what? Let's blow it up. Now, the show that was yours, you had 100% on, boom, it's over. No more show. There's no more show. So now you're back to zero. You went to all of this, back to zero. Because they want to make a decision. Now they're going to take what was left of your shows and give it to some white folks. Congratulations. You played yourself. Couldn't have happened to a better soul. I must admit. Why are these people sending me this? Now, let's continue.
We don't know what happened to MSNBC, SN, and stuff like that because, you know, the objective was to get rid of her because it just wasn't very good. And the objective was to get rid of her for Get Up because it wasn't very, very good. And the objective to get rid of her on the NBA was because they got tired of the noise and wanted somebody, dare I say, more pleasant. I'm only guessing because I never asked. All I had to do was look and see. Why does that matter? Because here we are talking about Sirius XM. Ladies and gentlemen, as shocking as it may be for you, I had no idea that the Stephen A. Smith Show on Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio, 1 to 3 p.m. every weekday, re-airing 6 to 8 p.m. every weekday, was her time slot because I never paid attention. I didn't know that was her show. I had no idea when Sirius XM came to me to ask me to do the time slot. And then even once I found out, this is the business that we're in. You're assuming you got a contract, they'll reposition you, you'll get another time slot, another contract, another channel, whatever. You're not thinking about anything like that. Did you tell them what happened, Michelle? Did you tell them that once you learned the news, you went Hollywood Reporter, it's embarrassing, and all of this other stuff? Did you tell them all of that? I just want to know, did you tell them? Because you see, these things are important. I want to know if you were open and honest. Did you tell your audience what you did? You went on the air, not just talking about me, talking shit about SiriusXM. You had a contract that was still due for months for you to be on the air. And they told you to get the hell off the air now because of how rude and disrespectful you are. Did you get the money back? Because see, I work for mine. When I get a check, it's because of the hours I put in. When you left ESPN, did you give back the money? Did you sit up there and say, this is my final day, so I don't need to buy out? Or did you take that money and live off of it for years without working? What'd you do? When SiriusXM, when you just got off the air, and I started in September, when you were off the air, June, July, August, into September, you didn't get a check? You talking about me who works for my money, you were getting paid for not working.
Hey, he cooking. Hey, he cooking right now. But that's what a buyout is. Dang, she's rude and disrespectful. She is rude. She's a very different individual. But let me show y'all something right quick. You know, like I told you, I know Stephen A. You have never seen that picture of Stephen A before. This is his, supposedly his college, right? Something seems weird about his picture. That don't look like the photo for Stephen A. Smith. It looked like they enhanced it. And he was wearing Winston number 20. Stephen Smith. Right? And they put Stephen A. It looked like somebody drew him into this. Right? This was the team, and this is from the yearbook. Stephen A. Smith is not mentioned in any of these things. So when I tell you I got the facts on you, buddy, I got the facts on you. I got the whole scoop. And you know it. When I say you threw black people under the bus, we all saw it. Well, that's the nature of this business. The liars lie to continue the narratives that they want to keep spinning.
I didn't know that you resembled a college coach with a buyout and they getting paid for not coaching. That's you. That's who you are. So let me say this. Ladies and gentlemen, I in no way have any desire to ever talk about this woman again in my life. Almost like I did before, that other dude that was clapping at me for years before I finally said something. I felt it necessary to say something today, just to make the point. Enough's enough. Enough's enough. I'm not dealing with this nonsense. I'm not gonna let people sit out here and think there's some kind of relationship that went sour and that's what must be going on. I don't know this woman. I've never spoken to her. I've never bothered her. And part of the reason is because to call her out, I would have to incriminate others I don't want to incriminate because of the things I know. And I don't want to do that to another person. But she's talking about ethics and work ethics.
Leave
whatever.
it
She has none of
ambiguous.
it. She'll get paid for not working. She cares not what she says or how she says it or how she talks about whoever it is that she wants to talk about. It's LeBron James' fault. It's Rachel Nichols' fault. It's Stephen A. It's Sirius XM. It's ESPN. It's NBCSN. It's never, ever her. She is a waste of my space that I will never allow to happen again. Ain't nobody scared to talk. Ain't nobody scared to clap back. I just got bigger and better things to do. But I just felt like after over a decade of being attacked, enough was enough. I wish her nothing but the best because I pray all the time to a higher force. And under no circumstances do I wish evil or failure or misery upon any human being. I would never pray for your downfall, Michelle. I would never pray for you to fail. I would never pray nor celebrate the fact that you are not as successful as you once were. I wish you nothing but the best. Stay the hell out of my life and I'll stay out of yours. I have no desire to talk about you or to you ever. But that doesn't mean I'm wishing you harm. I'm not going to call you a monster. I'm not going to wish failure and your demise. I'm not going to be evil and unfair and unethical. I'm not going to encourage people not to hire you. I'm not going to talk about you stealing money when you don't. I'm not going to sit up there and ignore your resume. I read your resume. It is what it is. You did a good job on Sports Nation. You did a good job when you were interested on NBA Countdown. You've just never done a good job in getting along with the people that you work for, which is why you, according to your own words, has napalmed bridges. That's you. Don't hate on somebody who was fortunate enough to resurrect my career and not make the mistakes you made. Live your life and let others live theirs. I wish you well. God bless. All the best to you. Now let me get to somebody I do know. At least I thought I knew.
Now, so that's what he had to say about this situation here. Now, let's get into the other stage. Does anybody know who that is? Or what this is? This is Stephen A. Smith's school, Thomas Edison High School, the engineering high school he went to, where he was this basketball savant. This is the Far South, or JV, junior varsity team. This is the yearbook for the senior team at the engineering school. Stephen A. Smith could not beat out any of these white boys to get on the team, but he was Steph Curry. Look at this. Where are you, Stephen? You're not mentioned at all. Where are you, Stephen A? In your book, you was on the team, right? And this one teacher hated me, and then they pulled me off. I was doing good. I was killing for the team. Why are you not mentioned? The bottom team is the varsity team. This is the varsity team. Above is the junior varsity team. This is the varsity basketball team. And Stephen A. Smith could not get on this team. So we're supposed to believe this guy when he was a senior, he couldn't make this team. He was this basketball giant, right? Look at this. This is the junior varsity team. You couldn't even make this team. You couldn't make the junior varsity team. This dude is probably 50 pounds soaking wet. Dude, this is the JV basketball team. And this is the varsity team. This is an engineering school. This is Thomas Edison. Who do you think they're playing against? The science club? And you couldn't make this team. There was only 3 black kids at the entire school. 3. Stephen A. Smith was one of them. Where do you think he got this learned and taught behavior from? Stephen A., I know your history, so you can't lie to me. Everybody else you could lie to because they don't know you. They're not going to research. They're not going to care enough to research you. They're not going to want to go through the lamps and lamps. Everything that Stephen A. was saying in his book just doesn't make any sense. Now, let's take a look at something I don't think I've ever shown y'all. A special thanks to my Thomas A. Edison High School buddy, Jeff Brown. We lost touch when he went to the Navy, but reconnected in 2000. Nearly away. We have been inseparable ever since, courtesy of his lovely wife, Nina, and their 2 beautiful children, Nicole and Nicholas, who host me for Sunday dinners every time I'm in LA, and who I absolutely love being around. The Browns are my second family. My love for them, my trust in them, knows no limits. Who the hell is Jeff Brown? He's missing from the records. I don't even know if Jeff Brown was ever in the Navy. You know you can look this up, right, Stephen A? I can go to the FOIA, which is the Freedom of Information Act, and request an assertion on whether Jeff Brown indeed served in the Navy. I'm quite sure there was a Jeff Brown eventually somewhere. But Stephen A. Smith, you want to tell the people where you went to school after college? I mean, after you graduated high school, you didn't go to Winston-Salem. He always say, "Oh, I had to go to the JUCO route." You know where you went to school, buddy? You went to college at the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York City, the FIT. Anybody know in New York, you know what the Fashion Institute of Technology is? The FIT. And they didn't have a basketball team. So they had one little team that they got, right? They had a partial basketball scholarship at a junior college level. And that was a mismatch for you, Stephen A. You were going against student body members, noticeably fashion alumni. the basketball team stood in the contrast of the people of predominantly black players. You were going against white people who was there to sew and sashay, hey, under the coach of Marvin Rippey, right? They had little enthusiasm about the basketball program there. And you've only had about maybe 12 fans to show up to watch y'all play. You went to the Fashion Institute of Technology, Stephen A. Smith. Why you never mention that? You know I'm telling the truth. You went to the FIT, the Fashion Institute of Technology, under Marvin Rippey. But here's something that he mentions. The reason why is he mentions that in his book, that he went to the Fashion Institute of Technology under the guidance of Coach Marvin Rippey. But due to his nature, Stephen A. Smith experiences at FIT, right? In the Junco, we can't help but question the narrative because you're not in one yearbook and there's no records of you attending the Fashion Institute of Technology. Why come, or how come with Stephen A, there's never a record of him doing anything? There's no records of you doing any of it. Now, Stephen A lies so much in his book, he trips up on his own lie. He said Coach Gaines would tell him he had a shot of achieving big things in life. He would tell Stephen A that one day he would benefit the university, the black community, the society as a whole. They would also discuss politics, social issues, and basketball. Coach Gaines knew you so much, he didn't even put you in his goddamn book. And you the probably the most famous person Coach Gaines know that have left there and became real famous. And he never mentioned you once in his book. But you act like y'all was so close. You said that this man would one day influence the lives of black people. Coach Gaines told you that? Coach Gaines' son said, well, my dad never mentions this guy. He saw something special and unique in him. So tell me, did you go to this man's funeral? Did you sign the book? Did you do anything besides make a post after he died on Twitter? Now, in his book, Stephen A said he was sitting in the office every day, every single day, where his future was honed. And it pained the coach to see him hobbling around because he knew he could still ball. By this point, Stephen A was moving like sometimes 30 times his age. 30 times his age? Damn, he'd be like 600 then, right? Okay. But anyway, Stephen A went on to say that the aches and stiffness in his knees prevented him from playing and practicing, and he felt even with bad knees, he was better than most healthy players. How is it that only 5 months earlier he was able to score 51 points on 17 straight 3-points? Now he could barely walk. So my knee exploded 3 months into the season. This happened to be in a scrimmage practice game. Here's how it's described in his book. This is what happened to Stephen A. in his book. Stephen A. said, I took a passing stride while I was sprinting up court on a fast break towards the hoop. As I rose to the rim, I heard a loud pop that echoed an otherwise empty gym like somebody had jumped out of a bubble wrap. Pain shot up my body every step, but I stayed on the court, hustling back on defense, then trying to sprint up the other way in transition. I finally stopped and asked to come out. I hobbled over to Coach Gaines, and for the first time, I heard it pop. I looked down at my knee, swollen 3 times its normal size. It looked more like a balloon ready to burst. My knee exploded. It was a devastating injury. But how someone still managed to stay on the court for defense, then eventually walked off? How was he still standing and able to walk? He had cracked his right patella, which is either a break or fracture in the kneecap. He doesn't say, which is and was, but given severity, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and said it was a fractured patella, right? And he got screws in his knee. Now, typically, it would take months for most of the bone to heal and regain normal knee function. When strange is that Stephen A. at 50 years old and his knee looking great, right?
For 3, got it! Fear the beard.
That's the narrative. Y'all remember this? That was Stephen A. at like 50.
Talking about people's jump shots and whatnot. I want to see yours.
It's a 3-2-4. I'm critical. So I'm gonna do what you asked me to do. I'm gonna do what you asked me. Hold on. What?
Best out of 5. Yes, one more shot.
Yes.
Best out of 5 from the 3.
This is bad. No warm up. You warmed up. You warmed up. We need to do passes too. Oh.
Look at this shot.
Oh, you gotta make money. Come on, man. Oh my God. Close the door.
Look at the form.
Close that door. Hold on. Let's do that. That's a do-over.
No, that's over 3.
Come on, pin down. There you go. One down. Oh.
Air ball.
This is bang.
You can play on our team.
You couldn't play on our team. Now, this man hit 17 threes earlier. This man talk about how he could barely walk. He can't do nothing. My knees is messed up. It didn't look like his knees was that bad now. Only thing bad is the way you shoot. That was what was bad, was how you were shooting. So don't get mad that nobody believes you. So this is what we mean when we say this dude's a liar. There's no way this dude was ever a hooper. He don't walk like a hooper. He don't dribble the ball like somebody who hooped at all. He was a hoop enthusiast. It is like, we get it. You want to be down. You want to be that guy. Nothing about him says Hooper. Yeah, mostly Hopper is more like it. But that's what I'm talking about. When it comes to his mentality and what he was talking about, as you can see right there, that is the Stephen A. Smith we know. So don't forget to go to the Patreon where we finna get down right about 2 more minutes. So you're not gonna want to miss this. Trust me, you're not gonna want to miss this. I'm out. I ain't even telling you what it is, but let me tell you, you don't want to miss this. Charles Oakley, you did it to yourself.